Welcome one and all to the Race Spec PS Pacific Saturday Endurance League, and this is round 13, and we are here in America, in Austin, Texas, at the Circuit of the Americas. One of the few anti-clockwise circuits on the calendar. It's 5.5 kilometers with 2 DRS, and the first leading up to turn 1 with a 30-meter rise up into turn 1. And today with me I have the fantastic Tent Sandals. How are you doing, Tent?
I'm doing amazing as always. A bit out of practice, I reckon, but I'm glad to be back, and welcome back everyone after our long break.
Yeah, well, we've had a bit of an extended break too, because we were away for the Melbourne Grand Prix in person, and that was amazing. And then I was away on holiday, so I had the fantastic Lane Everingham. Shout out to him for covering for me that last weekend in Imola.
Yeah. USA, how you feeling about tonight? You keen for it?
I am. I love the USA. Well, the track itself, maybe. I'm not sure about the country. That's still yet undecided. But the track, the USA track, the Circuit of the Americas, I do like that one. So, yeah, I'm definitely keen for tonight. I don't know what about yourself?
I'm pretty keen. I'm also keen that we're going to have another couple USA races next year in the next game. Those will be awesome, I reckon.
Yeah, agreed. And Miami's next weekend, isn't it, already?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so already on that new track, a lot of new tracks cropping up around the globe, so that's great to see, a bit of excitement. And those last couple of new tracks we've had, such as Jeddah, they've been fantastic, so hopefully Miami will be following suit on that.
Yeah, it could be a bit interesting there. What are they expecting? Street circuit to be extremely bumpy as well with these porpoising cars. Could be a pretty tricky one for the drivers.
Yeah, indeedy doody, and we have got a slightly smaller grid tonight, which is unfortunate, but a few reserves standing in for today, who are 10?
Well, we've got Roscoe in the Alpine, PRL Aussie reserving for the Red Bull, and Honest Crook also in the Alpine. Not too many reserves tonight. Keep it pretty easy for everyone to follow.
Yeah, we've got our first car ready to start a flying lap. That's Ventani on the medium tyre in the Alfa Romeo. Tent, take us away on this flying lap.
Very well then, we've got Ventani coming along this straight. Pretty long straight into the big uphill to turn 1. Awesome corner here. Should see plenty of overtakes here. Turns in super well, gear second, and uses none of the outside apex. Very well done, and turns in super well, keeping the car very steady on those medium tires. Not going to have as much grip through here as you would with those softs. Runs pretty wide, doesn't invalidate there. Beautifully done. Turning the car very tight here. You got to get that car rotated real quick onto the power and get extremely wide here, as he does. Doesn't invalidate again, right on that white line. He's pushing hard for this first lap. Another tricky corner here. Got to get that car rotated super quickly and then on the power as quick as possible, as he does. Now we've got a long DRS straight here. A lot of people will hug this corner, all this straight all the way down to the edge, as he is doing. And you can see that he's using all of the track width here. Another tricky corner. Again, have to rotate that car super quickly and super cleanly. Also, a tricky corner here, as you can lose the rear end, as he does. Catches it beautifully though, and doesn't lose much time in that. Another one that is also super tricky. A lot of tricky corners around this track, but handles it super well. Flat out corner here, as he's not going flat because those mediums will not give him enough grip, unfortunately. Get the car turned in super well, run the car super wide. You can take that corner super quick. Another kind of tricky corner, can lose the rear end here pretty easy, uses all of the curb. It was a very clean lap from him other than that one little mistake, but a 33.9 is a pretty solid banker, I reckon, on those mediums, so we should see a good lap from him on those softs.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be wanting to improve on that one here. And as I actually pan the camera onto Banana Cake there, he sets the fastest lap of the session so far, 133.5, only a couple of tenths quicker than Ventani on that medium tyre, but already beaten immediately by Deputy Dilldog there. And whilst we're on the subject of Banana Cake Pie, He's going to be our interviewee for the weekend today, so we'll be having a chat with him in a few moments as we see just a yellow flag their car on the side of the road. Yeah, we'll just let him finish this lap and then bring him into the comm box. We are keen to talk to this chap, aren't we?
Very much so. I know a lot of Race Spec boys have a great deal of respect for Banana Cake Pie, as he is brutally honest most of the time. He will start his lobbies directly at 6 o'clock. If you're not in there, you're not racing, and it's something that I know a lot of the boys respect him for.
Yeah, punctual. He likes everyone to be punctual, and you know I think that's fair enough as well. And we like a bit of his sass in there in the chats, and what a character. Yeah, definitely, as you said, a lot of respect for him as we see quite a few of the cars coming around now. Putting in some lap times on the board, quite a few guys on the medium tyres, and I wanted to just pick up before we get into this interview as well, that both of the Mercedes, I think it's one of the only teams apart from Aston Martin, the two teams, Aston Martin and Mercedes, the only guys who have their two full-time drivers on track, so that's going to be interesting for the championship, and we'll get to that a little bit later with the points scoring there. Might mix things up a little bit. Good chance to score some points in these closing stages. Only 3 races left in this championship here, but yeah, it looks like a Banana Cake's keeps going around for another lap, so we won't bring him yet. As Ford there sets the fastest lap, 32.0, very respectable. Mighty Wombat jumping in there in P2 also.
Yeah, Mighty Wombat 32.1, only 1 second off Ford. A bit surprising. We might see the Mighty Wombat with some very good pace here tonight. I'm keen to see him up at the top of the grid. Generally, he's done pretty well.
Yeah, as you see Ventani in the chat there, that was decent. I wonder if we got any info about the weather situations. Ferrari seems to be on a pretty decent lap there, sitting at 32.7, just settle into P4.
I'm sure you can ask Banana Cake Pie in a couple minutes when you pull him in the comm box about that weather.
Yeah, I'm presuming he's coming in right now, so you know, we're just gonna hassle him anyway, even if he's not coming in, just to be a real pain in the ass, because that's what we like to do around here. Banana Cake, are you there?
Hello. Hello.
Ah, there he is. There he is. How are you doing? Are you on the lap?
Am I here?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. You're not on a lap, are you? Are you gonna take us for a hot lap now? Is that what you're about to do?
No, I am not. No. You're not getting any sort of hell lap. I think I did an excellent job earlier. I've got 10 laps of fuel. I'm just cruising.
Oh, you're just cruising? All right, so we're good to interrupt
Just
your
cruising along.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, there's only 13 people or so, so I'll probably do a medium lap a bit later on.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Anyway, so we've got you in the comm box for a little bit of time. Let's not go overboard with the time, but let's learn a little bit about you, because you're a bit of a veteran in the race spec, aren't you?
Yeah, I am a bit, yeah. Now, yeah.
Yeah, how long you been?
Getting a bit old.
For?
I joined towards the end of season 1, 2019. Within like 3 races to go, at the end of season 1.
Yeah, so we
got thrown into a tier 1 race. Yeah, got thrown into a tier 1 race. Did absolutely horribly. Then asked me to the race back, like, yeah, nah, put me tier 2, please.
Yeah, straight in the deep end, right? And then, also, you're a virgin to endurance, aren't you? I believe. This is your first endurance.
Yeah, this is my first time after accidentally signing up for it, and then sticking with it.
Well, that's good to hear that you're sticking with it. We love endurance around here, and but you were in the tier 2 contention there in the top 3, and just before a couple of weekends ago when we had the lobbies merged due to numbers. So how are you finding it in tier 1?
One was good. It's been good so far. They had a good run at Zanfort before the game decides to crap on all those ideas, but so far so good.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And but just maybe reiterate, he is our league coordinator for Pacific Series 2, and also you race in Open, I believe, on Sundays.
Yeah, I am also league coordinator for the tier 2 or tier 1 Open. Yeah.
Oh, he's got his finger in all of the Banana Cake Pies, so to speak. And tell us a little bit about your interesting setup that you race on.
Quite interesting setup. I sit
Yeah.
at the desk and use a controller with audio system. It's good fun.
And but the analog sticks you're telling me about.
Yes, yeah, I use the push the analog stick forward to go forward, but then pull it back to go reverse.
Quite unconventional, some might say. I don't know if I could wrap my
Yeah,
head
but
around doing that, to be honest.
Yeah, it's quite comfortable. It's better than just I rather that than hold down the R2 trigger for 45 minutes to an hour and a half at a time. Something I've
That's
always
fair
had,
enough.
something I've stuck with.
And yeah, and you've been playing these F1 games for since
Since whatever the first PS4 one was. Just very casually and then got caught up in doing late
boy,
race.
or are you always
Oh,
been a
yeah,
PlayStation?
always.
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 PlayStation.
I've still got my PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 on the shelf behind me.
Oh, what a legend! What a legend! See, I was a Nintendo boy growing up, so I never had a PlayStation.
Yeah, that was my first console. My first one was N64.
Well, there you go.
I remember playing Mario Kart on the N64.
I
I don't have it with me, but somewhere.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, yeah, it's the greatest console in my opinion.
Yeah, good fun.
And actually, you know what? Tell us a little bit about your name, Banana Cake. Where
My
does that
name?
come from? Yeah, Banana Cake Pie.
That has nothing at all. I just wanted the name for whenever someone sees it in the lobby, it just confuses them and just questions it. And so far, it's worked.
Well,
when everyone sees
yeah,
the name, they just question it. They go, "What? What the hell's that?"
That's what we do all the time, and we agreed that you were in the chat a couple of weeks ago, and we were, what is the banana cake? Is it a thing?
Nah, it's just nothing. It just makes people laugh and confused.
But yeah,
enough for
you're a
me.
very fun go get 'em kind of racer, and we respect that. Here to have a good time, right?
Yeah, just happy to be.
Good. And you know what? Would you like to tell us a little bit about your setup that you're running today? We're always interested to hear what people choose to run.
My car setup.
Yeah, your car setup.
Fuck. Let me get back to the pits.
I don't even know what it is.
Neither do
That's
I.
how
I usually just go to TT, just grab either
Grab
wheels
someone.
setup or someone else,
There you go.
and just send it.
Do you prefer
if you wanna-
low or high downforce then?
Oh, it depends. I like a lot of stability.
A lot of stability, yeah, fair enough. So,
Yeah.
but this is quite easy to overtake on this track with a DRS zone, so it shouldn't be too bad for you.
I have noticed that a lot of my setups that I do pinch from TT aren't that greatest in the straight line.
Yes.
So you can blame Will for that one. You can blame Alex Liddell for a few of those setups as well.
Oh, that's who you're pinching them off. So okay,
Sometimes, yeah.
Hopefully they're not listening. They might think of sabotaging. Hopefully they don't do anything like that. Well,
in terms of making my own setup round up, no idea. I'm not that smart.
yeah. You're just here for a good time, right?
Yeah, just hear their race.
Oh, that's so good too. Well, you're sitting in P8 at the moment with a 33.5, so that's pretty respectable. You reckon you can improve on that?
Oh, easily, yeah. That's just 10 laps of fuel just cruising around up.
Well, where do you
probably,
see yourself?
It probably won't be a 31 like 40% earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe mid 32s, who knows.
Mm.
And my setup at the moment, it's just 9 wings.
Oh, okay. Pretty simple.
It's nice and-
Pretty simple.
Yeah. Max tire pressure for some reason.
Yeah. Well, we might just slowly wrap it up there because as everyone starts to come out for their last runs, and we just want to reiterate the love and respect we have for you as our league coordinator. By the way,
Thank you. Actually,
love your work. Keep it up.
something. Oh, we'll try it. I'll try.
Oh, and do you whilst you're on the air with us, do you have any questions for Mr. Race Spec? Because I'm collecting questions from people if they want to ask anything. in
Oh,
particular
questions for Mr. Race Bet.
Yeah, he's going to be our final interviewee of the season.
Yeah.
But do you have anything in particular?
Oh, yes. Why did you rob me of the hashtag P1 banana overtake of the week?
Oh, that's very personal.
That's
Alright,
a
well,
personal and a very old one now.
all right. I will ask him that on air. I'll put him on the spot.
Oh, I'll like to hear that answer.
All right, well, we're going to jump back to the action, otherwise we'll miss some of the fastest laps, but we might hear from you a little bit later on in the session, depending on how things go. Thanks for joining us for this interview,
Thank you.
and yeah, it's always good to learn a little bit about all the different people we have here.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
All right, well, good luck for the race, I guess.
I'll try. We'll see.
Oh, that was Banana Cake Pie, league coordinator for Tier 2 Pacific, and also racing in a couple of the bits and bobs around the week. Tent, catch us up on what's been going on here whilst I've been yakking away.
Honestly, not a lot has happened. We've only had a couple other guys really improve on some laps. Yeah, Ford obviously just retiring just then. Decided that his lap was good enough and he'd rather save a pair of softs, as I think it's pretty intense around here on tyres. But yeah, honestly, really no laps have really been improved. We saw Roscoe set his first lap, that was about it. Same with Pato and that. But yeah, honestly, no real improvement.
Yeah, I was kind of half paying attention to that, and I saw not really much going on, so I thought I'd continue that interview. But one thing you want to know there is the time between Wombat and Ferrari Pro there, exactly the same, a 32.106. That is pretty incredible, as now all the cars are coming around here. Plenty of guys retiring in the pits there, not thinking they can go quicker forward. Andre, Honest Crook, and Alex, yeah, it's a bit odd, down in P13. Is he doing a last to first challenge?
Yeah, not too sure. Maybe he's decided he wants to start on the mediums, or maybe he's just straight up decided that he wants to save as many tyres as he can.
Yeah, Ventani, they're informing us that both of the sessions are dry, so no crazy weather shenanigans to put up with in this America's session. But we're going to ride on board with Wombat, who's going to be the first guy to come around and do a start on the final flying laps. 1 minute, 20 seconds left to go. Off he goes down the line. We'll ride on board with the Wombat in P2 at the moment as he heads up to the steep turn 1 blind corner, heading up to this crest. And yeah, it's important to get this hooked up nicely. You can really cut a lot of that corner. It gets a nice run down, not using all the exit curve, not really SSA. And this is this tricky S part. You have to have a huge amount of commitment through here and get it perfectly online, not wanting to get an invalidation for corner cutting or exits, and that was right on the edge of limits here. This is a tricky corner as well for traction, very easy for the rear to go sliding out, and also invalidation on the exit. I'm going to be saying that a lot, I think, on this lap. Lots of places to invalidate. Running down to the second DRS zone, braking just before the 50-meter board, getting that hooked up nicely. Bit of a lateral movement in the car, late on getting on the power. That's not going to be ideal for his as he heads off down the middle back straight. A little bit bumpy here, but the car's riding pretty well, as you said before, hugging the outside part of the track, maximizing that. And yeah, ends sector 2, and we'll see how his split goes there. He is half a second up, purple middle sector, so that traction loss there really not costing him too much. You kind of think, what could this lap been without that mistake too? Heads into the tricky middle sector, and yeah, we'll see how this last part of the lap shapes up, because it's all about the downforce through this section, and not invalidating on this penultimate corner, which is so easy to do. Hooked up nicely, leaves plenty on the table there, it seems. Final corner, traction short shift up to 4th, and goes P1 with a 31.4, just nips in there. Fantastic lap from the mighty Wombat there, as Roscoe's heading across the line, jumps up to P3 with a 32.0 there. Good lap from him. Who's going to be across the line now? I think it's Banana Cake, yep. And how is his lap shaping up? He's on the mediums. I don't think he's really going to be challenging some of those top times on the mediums. Does move up to P9 with a 33 dead. That's Haas of Deputy Dildog moving up to P6 there. Lots of shifting around. Ventani's going to be the next one to cross the line. He's run out of fuel. Or Gibney's invalidated on his final lap. So that's him done. And who else have we got here? PRL Aussie coming around the final corner. Fuel light blinking away. DRS open across the line. 32.2. So close between P5 and P6. And Blags there with a P5, very strong finish by the Aston Martins. Who have we got left? Just the Ferrari and Karma on the is he on mediums? Is Karma on mediums, 10, or is he on the softs?
He's on the mediums.
He's on the mediums, so I don't think he's going to challenge. Can Ferrari do anything? Puts it up onto the second row with a 32 dead. Very close at the top there between the two guys, and that's qualifying pretty much done and dusted. Karma's going to be heading across the line here. I didn't see where he finished there at the end, but I think he was unchanged, might have moved up 1 or 2 positions there. But that's a qualifying done in the Americas.
Yeah, Mighty Wombat, a big shock of the week. Maybe with all the breaks that we've had, he's been sitting there practicing Kodo, or maybe he just absolutely loves the circuit. Who knows? But he is going to be a bit of a challenge for Ford, which will be very interesting to see.
Yeah, Ventani saying in the chat they invalidated that last corner, as I was saying on that hot lap with Wombat there. Very, very easy to do. Just either cut that corner as it's quite blind, or just go a little bit too wide on the track limits there. But that's your grid for today's race there. Bit of a surprise there. Alex down at the bottom in P13, so that's a bit strange. It didn't look like he set a proper lap at all. So I think he's doing the last of the first challenge. And yeah, a bunch of guys on the mediums. Banana Cake, the only one that's going to be starting on the mediums this race because he made it into the top 10. So yeah, good finish by the Aston Martin boys. And well, not quite from the Mercedes, but as I mentioned before, those two teams, the only ones with full non-reserve drivers in their team and a full team. Also struggling with cramps in my legs, says Ventani. He's getting those excuses in early. Good to see there. Some good excuses in there. So if anything goes wrong, we all do that, I think, as drivers.
Of course we all do. Sometimes you just got to get those excuses out nice and early if you know it's not your day already.
We're just messing with you, Ventani. I'm sure, hopefully, did you get your time for your ice bath beforehand? He said he was going to go for an ice bath after he had some training of some sort, some real physical sport, outdoor sports, not indoor sports, like we are doing tonight in our esports championship. But I love a bit of esport. I love sports where you can sit down and still sport.
You missed the physical side though.
A little bit, yeah. All right, let's take a look at our grid for today. We got Mighty Wombat and P1 in the Aston Martin. I think Ford was expecting that from him, so he retired a bit early. Maybe he shouldn't have lost that P1 grid slot, so we'll see how important that is. Wombat and Paul Carl in the chat. I know it isn't that great to see, but yes, Ford in P2 is washed. And we got Ferrari Pro in the Ferrari, of course, in P3, so it's great qualifying from him. It's good to see Roscoe up there in the Alpine 2. Look at that, 4 different manufacturers in the front 2 rows there. Should be putting the tyres on, should I not? Yes, I should. I totally forgot what I'm doing. Here we go. Bags, the other Aston Martin in P5. Good qualifying from the Aston Martin boys. Lots of people missing time, so it's going to be a great chance to pick up some good points for them in the championship. Ventani in the Alfa Romeo P6. PRL Aussie in P7. Deputy Dildog in the Haas in P8. Lots of dust on the track there. Andre in P9 in the Alpha Tauri. And Banana Cake Pie on the red stuff there, mediums, because he's got in the top 10 in qualifying, and then the other guys, Karma on the mediums too. What's going on here with, I think there's been some messing of the order. Honest Crook on the hard tie, that worries me, and Alex there rounding out on the mediums. No, we hate the hard tie in endurance, and we were at the race in Melbourne, and we saw Carlos Sainz on the hard tie, and we said he's not been watching Race Spec Endurance. You do not start on the hard tie or go on the hard tie, and look what happened to him in the race.
Yeah, maybe it's a bit of a curse, I don't know, maybe it's something because we think it's going to happen, but it's just something that's turned out. Every single time a driver's gone on those hards, they've binned it and ended up DNFing from the race.
Now, we certainly don't want to jinx Honest Crook, but then again, we don't believe in jinxes around here, so I'm not even sure why I brought that word up. So I'm sure he'll be fine, but yes, I always worry for those people putting that hard tyre on as the driver's now coming onto the grid. A bit of an interesting camera angle here. Is it going to do that for all the drivers? No, there we go. That's better. Go My America Series friendly rival. yes, we are cheering him on. Lovely to see him up in pole there, upsetting the traditional order a little bit, which is what we love to see. So yes, why is it going to do that? Last car's coming on to the grid now, ready to start this race, just waiting for those lights. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Revs, And off they go, heading up the hill into turn 1. Left-hand side getting a decent start there, but Wombat holding his own up the hill. 3 wide in the second row. Ventani having a great start. Hopefully they'll make it all clean through here. A couple of cars 3 wide. There's a car. It's gone round. It's Ventani. Oh, that's a bad start for him, but the rest of them seemingly getting through okay. Ford having to back out. He's lost out to the Ferrari through the first couple of corners there, and great start from the Ferrari. Terrible start from Ventani, but otherwise everyone making it through pretty cleanly there by the looks of it.
Yeah, Banana Cake Pie there having a beautiful start. Went 3 wide outside, coming out of turn 1. Manny got pincered a bit, but they let him through in the end pretty much because they got a bit scared. But yeah, up 2 positions off the start. Very nicely done.
I see that. What's happening in Ventani? Oh no, has he gone round in the S? Does he have damage, I wonder, or cooked tyres, and he's gone into the wall, and that is an absolute disaster of way to start the race. But Ford already, look at the gap between the top 3, they've pulled away already. Bit of a lockup from Ford there. Going a little bit deep is also the Ferrari of Ferrari Pro. A couple of position changes coming into that corner there near the back of the field. Tyres on 100 degrees on exit. Yes, I thought so. And you're going to be so careful when those tyres are baking hot, and especially in that S section where grip is key. And yeah, these guys, that's one man down already in this race, so down to 12 races. Everyone will be scoring points today, but yeah, the status quo being held through the rest of that lap, through the end of that first lap there with I was gear 6 and couldn't keep it, says Ventani. Yeah, that does happen. We've seen that before. I don't know if that's to do with the game or a glitch, but yeah, those tyres baked, there's just no grip on them at all. But yeah, good job from Ferrari Pro coming down to, I didn't actually see where that overtake was made, but he's up that 1 position, and I think that was crucial. Ford not having a great start.
Yeah, Ford losing a position right off the start pretty much, so not great for him, but he is harassing the back of Ferrari Pro, and I'm sure that he will try and make that move and get that position back as soon as possible.
Yeah, DRS, of course, not enabled just quite yet. We've got another lap for that, so, but I wonder if Ford's going to have a little look-see before even the DRS gets enabled. There's already the gap starting to open between all of the drivers. Hopefully the Aston Martin backs can hold on to that 1 second to keep him in play, as we see a fight between Karma and Andre not having a great time. But there you go, Ford having a look on Ferrari Pro. Gets the job done. Ferrari not really using too much energy there. I wonder if he's just being a little bit tactical. You see a lockup from Ford there into turn 12. I wonder if he's just a little bit tactical there from Ferrari Pro, just to not fight at this stage. Wait for the DRS on the next lap and go for him then. But yeah, Andre not having a great start off the first couple of laps. You see a lock up there from Karma just in front. Very easy to lock up some of these tricky cambered corners, turning and braking at the same time. Very tricky to get right and not lock up those corners. But yeah, Andre dropped that 1 place. Karma having a good battle there.
Yeah, I'm sure Andre will want to get back past as he's on those softs, and the 2 in front are on those mediums. He just has that extra grip, as you could see through a couple of those corners just before. He just could take a much tighter line, but without DRS at the moment and everyone else using lots of their ERS, he just can't seem to make the move.
Yep. Oh, Banana Cake's gone a little bit wide through that section. Karma's had a little look, but he's not going to be close enough to make the move, especially there. Banana Cake going a little bit defensive, but yeah, I don't think there's going to be... Whoa, look at that! Karma gets really close up to now. I think Banana Cake's just offline a little bit, and it's just caused him to... You mess up one little bit of that S section, and then it just ruins the entire sector through there. So but it's very hard to overtake around there. So luckily for him, he has held onto that position. But now with the DRS enabled, you can see there Ferrari Pro's DRS open, and he's going to be chasing down the straight to Ford, but of course Ford 2 has the DRS, so it's all going to be on the Aston Martin of Mighty Wombat. Eyes at the front there, can he hold onto that position, as you definitely like people opening up as their Karma's already, it's going to be a double overtake there. Whoa, getting a bit too deep on the brakes is Andre. Banana Cake gets past him and he concedes that position, and the other Mercedes of Alex there in the background having a little look, going side by side through this tricky section. I think Andre's just going to hold on to that as they settle back into single file.
Yeah, Andre had that DRS and just saw an opening on Banana Cake Pie. Broke a little bit deep and almost ended up getting side by side with Karma there, but you held on to the position well with Pato catching up there and having a good opportunity trying to make an overtake.
Yeah, Ventani's saying 100 degrees of turn 1. He was on 85 in the start and then went to 117, so potentially could have been a glitch with the tire temperatures. I mean, there's that famous video as we see Andre making them move down into turn 1 with the aid of the DRS, and Banana Cake is going to have a little look-see, but it's just too tricky to get past around this section. Yeah, with the TRL video, if people have seen it, I can cast their minds back to that tire temperature glitch. Where his tyres went to minus 200 degrees, and is one of the most painful but hilarious videos to watch of the F1 games. Have you seen that one? Ted?
Yeah, I have seen that one. It was a bit interesting, and you couldn't really warm your tyres, could you, from that video?
No, not really. That was him done.
Mighty Wombat making the pass back on Ford here, so just trading positions at the moment. Oh, but Ford's going to try and hold it around the outside. Is he going to look on the inside here as the opens up a lot? No, he just seems to sit in. Probably going to wait for that DRS again and remake that overtake.
And the other Mercedes not quite managing to get past the Williams of Banana Cake there either, so just stuck at the back is Alex there. It's just not managing to pick his way through. Maybe this is not the track for him, but we'll see. We'll give him time. It's a long race here, and I keep wanting to. We keep getting too much action. I don't want to miss it. I keep wanting to check out the replay of the first lap, but there's just too much going on at the moment, so we'll just keep an eye on on-track live action as Ford is looking, left the door open, did Wombat into turn 1. I'm thinking he's looking for a switchback, but yeah, not managing to do that. See at the background there, Bags, the other Aston Martin, hustling the Ferrari, who's just doesn't quite seem to have the pace at the moment compared to the other guys, getting all turned up through this S section, has allowed Bags to catch right up to the back of him, and but as we were saying once before, just a bit too tricky to get past in this part, but definitely going to be moves as we're going to head past turn 11 onto the DRS straight. I'm sure there'll be a couple of position changes once again.
Yeah, very good to see Ford and Mighty Wombat having their little battle as Wombat gets a bit squirrely there. So he's 6/10 off here. Doubt he'll be able to make the move, but he just needs to stick with him, get that DRS for that for the first straight, sorry, again, and then remake that overtake.
Yeah, I think Ford was dumping battery there pretty heftily to keep Mighty Wombat behind, because his battery is very low at the moment. It's going to leave him. Yeah, it's going to leave him open for the next DRS straight, unless he gets that charged up. I mean, the recharge rate here isn't too bad, but Mighty Wombat's been saving that battery just a little bit more than Ford. So we'll see how this battle develops. As who else we got here? Alex still not managing to get past Banana Cake, just doing some good defending around this part, but he has lost the DRS from the car in front, so it's going to leave him vulnerable into this next section as Ford there shows his dominance with a fastest lap of 137.15, but that hasn't really he hasn't really dropped Wombat, has he, at all?
No, not really, but we've got Pato going on Banana Cake Pie again. He's probably going to make the overtake here as it's done before the corner with DRS, but Banana's not giving up. He's going to look for a switchback here. Can't get on the power early enough. Very tough to do a switchback through there, but now he's just going to probably try and sit in, get that DRS again, and just remake that overtake and make sure that he doesn't get too far away from him.
I don't think he defended that too hard. Probably saved his battery a little bit. Alex has got heaps of battery though, so it'd be easy for him to defend that one. As the leaders come now onto the main back straight, and DRS is open here, so we're gonna see maybe will Wombat be close enough to make a move. Ford's not using his battery. It's gonna leave him vulnerable, but he did get a good exit out of that corner. Ford's gone defensive on the inside, blocks the apex, and it's not really anywhere he can get through. And there's a no change of places this lap for these guys, but further back we have Aussie having a look at Karma, not going to be quite close enough either. Karma's making his way up through the field nicely on that medium tyre. Unfortunately, Banana Cake not quite managing to keep with Karma, and has just sort of I'm not going to say he's moving backwards, but the other guys are moving forwards through the field. If he can just keep within DRS of the car in front, that should keep him in the fight with this group.
Yeah, but I was going to mention that Mighty Wombat didn't use much ERS either before on that other straight. So he's got a lot of overspeed coming into Ford here. So I'm wondering whether he's running a bit of a fast, less downforce, so he's got a bit more straight line speed, which could be a bit interesting between him and Ford's difference.
Yeah, he didn't seem to gain too much though on the straight, did he? I know Ford was using a lot. Well, that time actually Ford wasn't using that much battery, so yeah, we'll keep an eye on those. Shame we don't see a top speed graphic of some sort to make it easy for us to work out what the hell is going on. We're just using the visual eye and to work out how it's going. But looks like Ferrari's caught up to the back of Mighty Wombat a little bit through this lap, but they get such good exits coming out of that corner that pulls away. But here we go. You can see that overtake. He's already turned his battery off. Easily clears Ford down into turn 11. In front of him, braking, sparks flying. Ferrari Pro locking up in the background. There's the other Aston Martin hustling the rear of that Ferrari, and hopefully this battle just keeps going on through as we see Alex making moves, making gains up through. Another lockup by him. He's gone wide. He's completely misjudged that corner, but he just manages to hold on there. I just wonder if he might concede that position because he's never going to make that corner as Aussie almost, sorry, not Aussie, Andre almost runs into the back of him there. But yeah, Alex making moves up through the grid.
I don't think he really needs to give that position back, as he had the move done before the braking zone. He just broke late, but the move was complete before the braking zone.
You are correct. You are correct. So I'll take that back. I'll take that back. Very astute of you. And yeah, and you know what? Whilst this is sort of settled down, let's just take a little look at what we got from the replay from the start. As you see the cars heading up the grid there, and Ford, yeah, he just takes that inside line, gives way too much space, and the Ferrari just zooms around the outside and takes P2 away from him. And he just has to concede coming through. That just has a good run. Let's just take a little look at the background between these. Oopsie. Yeah, I'm sort of really stuffing up this replay. Ah, the replay's gone. Okay. Back to the live action there. Honest Crook for the win, says Kick Mukiwi. He's lulling everyone into false sense of security currently. Well, he's on that hard tyre, and he's still in the race. That means he has great skill, according to us here at Endurance, and I agree with you. As per usual, all it needs is that one safety car to really mess up the strategy for some of these guys here. And Karma there, he's got Aussie really still stuck behind him. These tyres will still go a long way, these softs, so no need to start looking at any kind of wear or pit stops, I think, at this current stage. But the gap's definitely opening up further down the grid as, yeah, Alex picking up the first penalty of the day. Congratulations to him for corner cutting, and I hesitate to, I believe we'll see probably quite a few of those throughout this race. It's just so easy to corner cut and invalidate around here. That looked right on the edge from Aussie too, as we were on board with him in that moment.
I'm just going to take a quick look around the board and see how many warnings everyone's got.
Yes, that was great.
Looks like a solid amount of warnings for a couple of drivers already. So some drivers being completely clean with no warnings at all, and then a couple picking up already 2 warnings. So a bit tough out there by the looks, as you mentioned.
Yeah, just almost 10 laps in, and yeah, plenty of warnings already. So yeah, wouldn't be surprised to see plenty of penalties on the way. But you never know. They might settle in and keep it clean. But that Ferrari, I was looking at through the S section. We might ride on board with it in the next lap. Looking a bit ragged around that section, bit of sliding, bit of movement going on there, and you can see just ahead there, Ford looking to the inside and gets the job done, but he's having a little look as the Wombat on around the outside. Going to be pretty difficult to do that, I don't think. Keeps trying to go for a switchback, but it's just not quite working on the corners in this short, sharp section. And yeah, Ford there retaking the lead of this race. But it's a long way to go, and I think we wouldn't be counting anything at this stage. It's definitely too early. I think these guys just trading positions, just settling in to a bit of a rhythm at this current stage. Early doors yet, and yeah, still Aussie there stuck behind Karma, not being able to make any moves on him.
Yeah, a bit of an interesting thing there, that Ford Mighty Wombat little tussle that we just saw. Into turn 15, Ford took a very, very tight line into that corner. Normally you run super wide and then turn and get the car rotated in. But he took it tight to make sure that Mighty Wombat would not absolutely send it up the inside, as it opens for an opportunity down the inside there. So he's already looking at defending it pretty early into the race. Obviously, trying not to lose much time by battling with Mighty Wombat.
Yeah, we've got a lovely shot there of PRL Aussie completely cutting one of the corners in the S section there and picking up a penalty for good measure. He's just going to be within DRS, but he didn't, mentioning about the line you were talking about, didn't really seem to lose too much time, did Ford, and yeah, you got a little bit of a lockup from Ford. Wombat's been keeping it very clean. We've seen a lot of lockups from Ford. And where's this battle been all season? Where's Wombat been? He isn't. This is obviously his track. His. Yeah. Again, once again, taking some. I mean, you can take many lines through that section, but once again, both the drivers taking completely different lines there, maybe reacting to one another. But the Ferrari's right up on the back of the Aston Martin, holding that in very high race in 6th gear rather than changing it to 7th, which is quite interesting there. And yeah, I found that very interesting. But going back to this battle between Karma and Aussie, we've seen in the past that the McLarens like to run a bit of that lower downforce, and their top speeds tend to be pretty high. So I think that's probably contributing to the fact that Aussie's just not managing to get onto the back of Karma there. Well, the rest of those gaps sort of opened up a bit here. The battle really is for the lead at the moment between these 4 drivers. 2 Aston Martins in the top 4. That is amazing to see. And Roscoe there picking another one now, picking up a penalty. Here they come now, thick and fast. Deputy Dilldog 2 picking up a penalty in quick succession, probably on the same corner, stacking up those warnings. And what are we going to see happen now down into turn 11 this lap? Can Wombat go for the move? They're sort of running lower and lower on the energy wise. Ford, I think at this stage of the race, seems to have the upper hand. He's sitting in front, plenty of energy, not really using. He's gone wide. Ford has completely missed that corner, gone wide. I wonder where he disappeared then, and that's given Wombat the lead of the race. Ford making plenty of mistakes. I wonder what's going on there. A bit of a break, maybe not helping.
Yeah, specifically that corner where you've seen him gone deep so many times with a lockup. Oh, gets very squirrely there. Manages to keep it beautifully though. Tyre wear starting to look like it is affecting some of these drivers. We are seeing a bit of lifting by them through those turns 16, 17 and 18 corners. So maybe they're starting to think maybe it's about time for a pit stop.
Yeah, let's stick on board from the Ferrari and see how the cars handle around the S section in this current stage of the race. Still quite high fuel loads, and the tyre wear, added with the tyre wear of the soft tyres, probably not going to be making it particularly easy around this tricky section. So yeah, just having a little look there. Andre, speaking of tyre wear and pitting, Andre first one into the pits on that soft tyre. It was a good change of direction there from the Ferrari, so maybe he's just having an off lap on those previous laps that we had here. It gets it really nicely hooked up. I think that's what I enjoy about this track. It is so satisfying when you get that S section hooked up, and you can gain so much lap time on that lap if the other driver does not get it hooked up. So yeah, I think that's what I like about it.
Yeah, Andre switching onto those fresh mediums, no front wing change or anything, so obviously just a normal pit stop for him, and we saw Big Izzled get a 3-second penalty there.
Yeah, so just the top 3 there. Well, a few others, but in the top is there Ford making the move this time, not going deep on. And look at that, the Ferrari having a real good look there on the Aston Martin. Can he go around the outside? Can he do this round the outside, which now obviously turns into the inside? Yes, he has. He's managed to get through, and it's going to be on the traction now. The Aston Martin's gone the inside, which is the more optimal line through here, and wow, he had to lift there and let the Ferrari through. That was a bit of a surprise there. I thought the Aston Martin had it then round the inside.
No, I think that was really well played by Ferrari Pro there. He squeezed him onto the apex of all those corners, so he had to lift a lot more than what Ferrari Pro could. So he had a lot better exit speed there, Ferrari Pro did, and yeah, made the move stick. Very well done.
Yeah, that was some excellent racing by the two drivers there. Close, clean racing, and that's what I really enjoy as well about that. Once again, I'm going to harp on about the fact that I'm going to talk about the positive points of this track, not the negative points. The corners there in the last section, I mean, you've got the big DRS straight, which is a great opportunity to overtake, so it encourages overtaking, and then you've got that fantastic last sector there where you can do that. It's all about car placement. Where do you put the car? The inside turns into the outside, so if you're smart about car placement, you know, you can pull off overtakes around there, and we just saw an absolutely fantastic battle, just sort of highlighting, I think, how maybe, you know, it's quite an underrated part of the track, really.
Yeah, we also saw Deputy Dilldog there pit onto the fresh mediums as well, but he also did have a front wing change, so maybe he had a bit of contact with another car, I'm not too sure. But that means Honest Crook is up 2 positions now, as those two people have pitted.
Oh, can he do an Alex Albon and go all the way on the hard tyre and change on the last lap for soft tyres, I wonder?
I wonder. Be a pretty large stretch, but he's doing very well on those hards at the moment, and yeah, very good. A lot of props to him because, like, yeah, as we have seen a lot of times, people have been binning it on those hards.
Can you just check for us if Ford got a warning just then?
Yes, I certainly can.
Oh, the Ferrari's right up to the back of Ford. He went totally wide on the second to last corner. I'm just interested to see if he got a warning for that. He just seems to be a little bit all over the place as Ford this race. So maybe a few cracks starting to appear as Pirelli coming into the pits for medium tyres. Those guys starting now to, yeah, we see a lot more guys coming onto that medium tyre. But the top 5 drivers still on soft, so do go on.
No warning for him on that lap, which was lap 13, but lap 14, sorry, end of lap 14 it was. But lap 13, he did get 2 warnings on that lap, so
interesting. He must have just lifted on that to prevent. He would have known he was on those 2 warnings and didn't want to pick up a penalty. As Ferrari Pro takes the lead, a new leader of this race we have. Huge lockup from the Ferrari. Ford having a little look-see, but not going to be quite close enough to make a move on the Ferrari. But yes, Ferrari Pro takes the lead of this race. Aston Martins now have to settle for P3 and P4. Ford having a little look through this last section. Ferrari, yeah, not great on the exit, just squirming a little bit, but yes, he's taken that lead. And I'm going to switch now over to this replay that we have of the Ferrari and the Aston Martin with the car placement going down the inside of this section. The Aston Martin on the inside there, he squeezes him onto the curb and he just has to lift out of that as the Ferrari has the better line and makes it past. Some fantastic driving there from the 2 drivers. As we see Ford now having a look on this start-finish straight, chooses not to go for the overtake there. Just tucks in behind. Roscoe coming into the pits. I wonder if we might see an undercut from one of the Aston Martin drivers, you know. I forget if they talked together or not, but this would be a perfect time now for one of them to come into the pits and perform an undercut. Obviously, they don't want to pit on the same lap. That would be an absolute disaster, but surely one of them can change onto the medium tyre and, whilst these guys are fighting, perform an impressive undercut.
yeah, Roscoe pitting onto those hard tyres. Hopefully he does not bin it and just keeps it chilled out. As we have seen, it can work. Honest Crook has been doing really well.
That's sorry to cut you there, but that was Banana Cake having a look on Roscoe, who's going to be struggling on a tyre warm-up. Can Banana Cake make any kind of moves here? It's looking like Roscoe's got those tyres warmed up very nice because the Banana Cake's just dropped right off at the end of this section. He's just going to be about in DRS range. Banana Cake's sort of been running his own race here. Just going to get that exit nice and clean. And yeah, I think Roscoe's sort of... Roscoe's done enough to stay ahead through that section. But yeah, strategy. Let's talk strategy. Aston Martin.
Well, not too sure. I don't know. What do you reckon?
Well, I think that surely. Oh, that's the Ferrari. He's already come in. He's there. There you go. That's the Ferrari going for the undercut. Now, I would have thought that surely. I feel like there was a missed opportunity there for them to come in. One of them drivers split the strategy. One of them come in earlier, get in whilst they're still fighting. get some clean air on that medium tie and just pull ahead doing the undercut. But I rather think they dropped the ball on that one, and the two guys pitted. That's Wombat on soft tires? Different strategy there.
Yeah, he's pitted onto the softs again.
Oh. If you caught that moment there between Alex and Ferrari just having a squabble on turn 1, I didn't quite get it, but I sort of saw it on the edge of the camera.
No, I didn't see it, unfortunately, but by the sound you made, it was a bit of a close one.
What were you about to say there?
I was going to say, we're seeing some definitely a lot of different strategies with hard tyres, softs, and just the medium tyres going on at this point in the race, as Ferrari tries to have a look a little in at the inside there, but he will make this overtake, I'm assuming, on this straight here, as he has got the DRS. Yeah, move is already complete.
Yeah, Wombat didn't have a great first sector there. He really dropped off the back as lockups left, right and centre happening there. But yeah, he dropped off the back of Ferrari, and that's going to be pretty crucial, I think. Also, the fact that Ford's teammate Alex in the Mercedes was holding up the Ferrari as much as possible to try and negate an undercut, as I'm sure... I was about to say, I'm sure we're going to see Mercedes come in this lap. We did not see Mercedes come out, but we did see the Aston Martin come in, so... Well, look at that, was a bit of a fight coming through this last sector there. That Mercedes being a bit of a roadblock, trying to help out his teammate, I am 100% sure, because yeah, Ford's extending on that soft tyre, thinks he's still got the pace, so it'll be interesting to see how these strategies play out. Was it better to come in early or better to stay out? This is crucial here. Wombat has to get past into turn 1, and Alex is going to have the inside bit of a lockup. It's going to come together a little bit, but I think he's got the grip on that soft tyre to get through here. Does he have the... because he's left space for him, but no, Alex is backed out there. Probably smart. Not going to be great to go through too wide through this section here, but that's cost him for the Ferrari, who's now pulled a 1.5 second gap on him.
Yeah, Alex really helping out his teammate there, Ford, with... Surely he will be boxing this lap. Yellow flag.
That's Alex who's gone round at the top of the hill, maybe in the dirty air of the car in front. That's a missing front wing, I believe I saw. Yep, completely destroyed. Oh, that is... well, he's lucky to keep that car going, actually, I think. So, really unfortunate for Alex. I think he did his job, trying to keep the cars behind him as best as possible. But yeah, it's good to see he's still in this race, but that's gonna ruin his strategy on that medium tyre there. Karma and also Banana Cake, the only ones now running that medium tyre strategy.
Yeah, Alex pulling over there and letting Banana Cake pie through, doing the correct thing from what I would have thought, trying to make sure that there aren't going to be any incidents due to him being very slow through the corners now.
Yeah, Wombat's got some rapid pace on those soft tyres. Already caught at the back of Ferrari. Ford is in the pits, so where is he going to come out here now? He's also gone onto that medium tyre, so Mighty Wombat doing something different. We can only see how that plays out much later in the race as he sets the fastest lap, 36.2. Where are they going to come out? In front of the Mercedes, unsurprisingly, I think from the undercut. Not as big as one might have thought, but Alex, I think, contributed to that, holding them up a little bit through their outlaps. But yeah, definitely, I wouldn't really say Ford's lost anything, in fact, really.
Yeah.
Just a second, I think he's going to, if he plays this just right, he'll be in the DRS there. Look at that, Wombat getting held up by the Ferrari through this section. He's got to get within that second. Yeah, there goes his energy, and he has done exactly that now. Ford 8/10 behind. He's going to get that DRS, and he's going to turn this battle back into a three-way.
Yeah, good to see him back in. Hopefully closes that gap real quick. But the other two might be pushing pretty hard here, as Mighty Wombat is using all his ERS to try and get Ferrari Pro, as he is on that faster tyre and probably wants to be at the lead of this pack. As he makes the move nice and clean, doesn't go deep, beautifully done.
Yeah, I don't think that's a super concern for Ferrari Pro. You know, he's on the medium tyre. If he can try and just, I mean, of course he probably wanted to hold him up for a little bit longer, but if he can just keep within touch of the Ferrari, stay within the DRS, that's going to help him. Whoa, I saw that happening there. Just a loss of grip for the Ferrari coming round that section, and he is incredibly, let's say, skilled and lucky to catch that, because that was right on the edge there. That is not a place you want to go around.
That has worked out perfectly though for Mighty Wombat. That second gap has been made, and now he has no DRS. Now he just needs to not be held up by Karma, try and make that move as quick as possible, and drop both Ferrari Pro and Ford whilst he's on that quicker tyre.
Yeah, both drivers very low on their battery at the moment. Look how much more speed Wombat has on that fresher rubber, and definitely getting held up by Karma. I'm sure Karma's not too bothered at all by this, but just keep it together. Not make any silly moves on someone who is not really racing at the moment with their differing strategies. But look how much time that's cost him though. Ferrari Pro back in the DRS now of Wombat, so that's been a bit of a disaster for Wombat not being able to get past him. It's just too tricky to overtake in that section. Karma goes on the inside. Wombat just sails straight past the outside. But now Ferrari and Ford will have to contend with the slower McLaren on the older tyre as Alex is retired in the pits. Alex, boo, is what we say to that.
Yeah, bit upsetting to see someone retire in the pits. Probably shouldn't have done it. He still would have got points at the end of the day if he finished the race, but now he hasn't reached the 75% quota, is it, for the race? So he won't get a point.
I mean, there was probably a good chance of there being a safety car too, right? What's happening to Banana Cake here? Having a fight with Deputy Dildog. Banana Cake trying around the outside, which once again turns into the inside. And it should be sort of giving a little bit of squeeze on the entry. And it gets a little bit sideways, unfortunately, for Banana Cake. And that's allowed Dildog to just get through there on the inside. But he's going to fight it around the outside. It's still going. It's still going. It's outside. It once again turns into the inside. Side by side through the penultimate corner. A little bit of contact there. I think it was a bit of friendly contact side by side through the last corner too. Unfortunately, now for Banana Cake... no, he was behind him in the detection, so Banana Cake's got the DRS. I thought it was going to be the other way around. That allows him just to pull up ahead and, yeah, through turn one and got that position not in the bag as I was about to call then. Side by side still, half a lap side by side between these two guys. Banana Cake relinquishes and lets Dildog through this S section there. What a great battle through that part of the lap. I think Banana Cake is probably a little bit, did that on purpose, a little bit smart through here, because now he's going to have the DRS if he can stay with him. Of course, Banana Cake on that older 19 old lap tyre compared to Dildog's 6 lap old medium tyres, but of course now Banana Cake will have the DRS heading down the back straight, and I wonder if he can just make a little attempt on him.
Yeah, it's a very long straight, but he is so far back. Look at the overspeed. Not going to get there, unfortunately. Beautiful little tussle between those two, though. Couple little wheel bangs, but that's always going to happen.
Bit of friendly wheel. There's nothing wrong with a bit of friendly wheel banging there. Maybe that 9.9 wings is just not helping him out here. Again, once again, as he did mention in the chat, grabbing a lot of his setups from time trial things, which are more sort of towards the downforce, high downforce, and I mean, you know me, I like running a bit of lower downforce, especially around this track with a big straight. So, and I wouldn't imagine that a few of the other drivers doing something similar. Yeah, and so that's just not really helping him with the overtakes around here, as now Ford and Ferrari, obviously Karma there, losing down a couple of positions due to that older rubber, not really racing them at this current phase of the race. But yeah, Mighty Wombat has pulled out a nice gap, which you would expect. He's on that soft tyre, but I think he's going to have to do a little bit more than he's doing at the moment to make full use of the soft tyre. Yeah,
definitely. He's not really pulling that gap at the moment. It's kind of just hovering, but both of them all three of them, all super low ERS as well, as they've been burning it a lot. Very tricky track to try and save your ERS around here, as it seems to just disappear.
Yeah, two big straights who want to really dump the battery, and yeah, just very encouraging to start flooring it and using all the energy. A bit of management required, sort of using it smartly and only really when necessary. Was that Ford? Yes, it was. What has happened there? A bit of a Ferrari Pro moment, I think. He just really quickly snapped before I knew it, and yeah, wow, big mistake from our championship leader there. A bit surprising. I wonder if he's going to keep that tyre on. I it'd be lovely to see his tyre temperatures. Just gotta be careful now, just to let those tyres temperatures cool down. But that's a big blow to him in this race. He's not lost too much time, no damage, lucky for him. 1.2 seconds off the other Aston Martin. I'm sure he'll try and regain that, but that is Ferrari Pro. That's going to be a sigh of relief for him, taking the pressure off, and probably not good for Wombat, because he was sort of hoping, I'm sure he was hoping that Ferrari Pro and Ford would battle away and lose time, but now Ferrari can just focus his sights solely on the lead Aston Martin.
Yeah, as he does seem to be doing, as that time on that delta seemed to be dropping real quick for a second there. Could be just through that sector, but yeah, see, it's increasing a lot down this straight here. Maybe Mighty Wombat's burning a lot, not too sure, but yeah, Mighty Wombat, bit of a task ahead of him as he needs to try and create this gap from Ferrari.
Yeah, quite uncharacteristic when you say of our of Ford there, losing it around there, but that is. You know, that's what happens when you run that slightly lower downforce. It's a high load corner and the car can just lose brake traction and disconnect, and next thing you know you're going sideways, as demonstrated by the replay I'm about to play of Ferrari Pro. It's very similar kind of, just too much steering lock, gets a four-wheel drift going in there. Ferrari Pro catching it very nicely. Ford not. I would imagine that Ford's was a bit more violent because it was a sudden snap. It just suddenly went. I saw in the background. They unfortunately didn't catch that for you guys, but caught the Ferrari one, which was masterfully caught. So good job on him. I'm sure there'll be there'll be a sudden elevation of heart rate in that moment for the two drivers. But it's good to see that Ford caught that and is still in the race, because that'd be a real shame if we lost him.
Yeah, we always want as many drivers in this race as possible to try and keep going. Again, any points is good points, I reckon, at the end of the day. Always, and yeah, every driver here can pick up points today. I think maybe we should go through the penalties.
Yes, let's do that whilst we have a moment, because that doesn't often happen, that we get moments to just have a little breather and take stock of what's going on here. And you know, as we just was saying, that Ford is lining up bags here for an overtake on the main straight, but I got the penalties up there for you. Not too many, as they're approaching half race distance, and it's going to be quite a simple move on that Aston Martin. Yep, he goes through. Another lockup from Ford there. Seems to always lock up through that corner. But yeah, easy done there. Penalties, take it away.
Well, we got Ferrari Pro sitting on 3 seconds. Mighty Wombat's going to be looking very pretty there without any penalties at the moment. Bag sitting at 3, and Banana Cake Pie also at 3 seconds. Now, our 6-second penalty guys are Roscoe, Aussie, and Deputy Dill Dog. So, late safety car. Oh, and there you go. Another 3-second penalty for Bags there. So, he's also in that 6-second group now. So, Banana Cake Pie, Andre, and Honest Crook sitting pretty well at the moment, with a late safety car that we have generally seen in endurance racing. So, late safety car, they're going to be brought right back up to the top of the field with those penalties.
Indeed. And touch on this little battle we've got happening at the back here between Andre and Banana Cake Pie. 23 old lap mediums, still not pitted yet, as bring up the stops there. Banana Cake, Honest Crook, and Karma there not stopped yet in this race. Yeah, Andre not quite close enough yet, but I'm sure he's sizing up an opportunity. He's on as much as there. Ferrari Pro picking up another penalty. He's much fresher rubber, and definitely gained a lot through that S section on Banana Cake. Banana Cake's going to have to defend through here, but Andre's not got too much energy to go for this overtake, so he's definitely have to be committed and get a really nice exit coming onto the straight, which he does seem to get. And what's this yellow flag here? What's this yellow flag? Who's that that's gone around? It's been cleared very quickly. It was one of the lead drivers. I think it was Ferrari Pro. Who, yeah, Ferrari Pro has something's happened to Ferrari Pro, and he's got past his Karma. Has he got damage?
Must have.
Maybe you take a look for us in the pit lane. see if you can see if there's a front wing change there, but there seemed to be, I saw in sector 3 around turns 16, 17, sort of in that section. I wonder if he's just done the same thing that he did a few laps before, that Ford also got caught out by. Front wing change?
Yeah, front
Seems
wing
to be
change.
slow. That medium tyre, some fresh rubber. Still gone.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, fresh mediums. Hopefully he can try and whittle his way back up that grid.
Yeah, that's a real shame because he was sitting in a great position there due to Ford's mishap, and then Ferrari making a bit of a mistake in the same spot by the looks of it. And yeah, 2 drivers already caught it. It's not really a place you tend to see the mistakes happen, but these guys pushing so hard, the battle being so close as we have a timing glitch on the sheets. We'll have to wait for that to fix itself. But Andre once again very close up to the banana cake as he's gone quite deep up through turn 8, and that's allowed Andre, but I think that sort of messed up his line through there because he's dropped off the back of him a little bit. He's got to get a good exit coming out of this corner here, saved a bit more energy this lap, and off he goes, deployed. He's going to have DRS open. I think it's going to be a fairly simple move, but no, Banana Cake's also deploying. Banana Cake stays on his line. Andre goes on the inside, and they're going to be side by side. We've seen so much side by side action there, but Andre's got it through. Banana Cake looking to challenge, no, tucks in behind him, and the job is done for Andre.
Yeah, big implications of Ferrari Pro's incident though, as we see Ford making the move on Karma. Karma kind of just letting him through there, as you'd expect on those 20. Yeah, it was a big squeeze from Ford there, but yeah, as you would expect on 25 lap old tyres there. He's kind of just struggling a little bit at the moment, but he's still seeming to keeping it very clean and still good pace on them by the looks as well. Well, as he completely cuts that corner and picks up a 3-second penalty.
Yeah,
but yeah,
unfortunately.
Muddy Wombat 12 seconds ahead now of Ford. He's got a very large gap. I'm sure if he keeps it clean, he can win this race.
Yeah, the question is though, can Ford go to the end on those tyres? Because Wombat will still have to pit as he's only run the soft compound. Ford run the soft and the medium. So if Ford can get some good pace on those medium tyres, I think it's going to come up to a differing strategy like we were talking about earlier. The Aston Martin splitting their strategy. I believe they're looking at one stops. You would think that a one stop is definitely on the cards for a lot of these drivers on the medium soft strategy. Whereas Wombat's definitely gone for that, committed to that 2 stop, so he's going to have to really pump in some lap times.
Yeah, he's got. I mean, how long's the pit stop here? I'm not too sure. I think it's a pretty long one. So, but he shouldn't come out super far behind. As we see Karma pitting on those 25 lap old mediums. So, by the looks of that, you'd almost have to say that maybe Ford might have to make another pit.
Wow. Seems to be a bit early, no, to be going onto the softs?
Well, we don't know what the tyres were like. Maybe they were completely dead. Maybe they were sitting at 50-60% already.
Yeah, indeed, but you wouldn't think that the softs will go to the end from here.
Nah, he might be doing the same
laps.
strat as Muddy Wombat. Maybe it's
yeah.
a soft medium, but yeah, he's doing medium soft.
Yeah, that's what you would think there. Ferrari Pro not managing to get past Deputy Dilldog on the start-finish straight, but he's tucked up right behind him through the S section. Much more pace on those fresh medium tyres, and you'd be expecting an overtake to be happening. The Deputy Dilldog got pretty much no energy on that Haas, and I think this is going to be pretty simple overtake here. As you see also ahead, we've got Karma having a look at Aussie. Those guys have been battling throughout the race. Slightly different strategies, but Karma's got ahead, and I think Karma's strategies paid off pretty well through there. As also Ferrari Pro's made the pass on Deputy Dilldog pretty early on the straight there, but I don't think Aussie's going to let well, he's not going to want to let Karma get away, but I think Karma on that fresh soft rubber is just going to sort of pull away through. He needs to get that 1 second gap, which he has already done, pulled out of that DRS just about, and it's going to allow him to just continuously just pull away as Deputy Dildog there. Picking up another penalty. That's 9 seconds for him. So first one with the 9 seconds in total. Still a long race. We are now halfway through this race. Strategies playing out. Still some to see. What will some of the guys do? Are they all on 2 stops? Some going to 1 stops maybe? You'd think that Honest Crook is definitely going to be on a 1 stop. He still has not pitted yet on that hard tyre. Doing a good job there.
Yeah, same with maybe Roscoe Arm also on those hards. He's been doing a very good job sitting P4 at the moment, 12 laps on those, and hasn't binned it yet on the hards as we always seem to see.
He's doing a fantastic job on the hard tyre, and I think when they get up to temperature, they tend to be okay. It is quite a sunny, hot day here in the Circuit of the Americas, so that will obviously aid on the tyre warm-up. It's a high-load track too with all those high-speed S's, so tyre warm-up generally pretty decent around here compared to some of the European tracks I've been to. It's been a bit colder, a bit more tricky, a bit easier to lose it with that hard tyre. Now see Ferrari Pro coming up to the back of PRL Aussie. I think this is going to be another, he's hoping it should be fairly simple overtake on this guy. Just be a bit careful maybe around this last couple of corners there. 2 mistakes already for that Ferrari in this section. Definitely you would presume then running a little bit low. It seemed to be a bit unstable on entry there too as he came into that corner. Turn 19. Some interesting setup choices there by the Ferrari driver. I think he's going to get this overtake pretty simply done up the steep hill of turn 1 and yeah, gets the job done. And it doesn't really show how steep it is, the camera angle there. It is, I'm sure, I've not been there in person, but I'm sure it's way steeper than it looks at rise. If anybody's been to any of the steep climb, what's that? There's a Haas that's a yellow flag. Deputy Dildog's gone around in the S section there. Watch out for the banana cake pie and the Williams. Got it going. Has he got damage, I wonder? Did you see that, Ten?
No, I didn't see it, but from the location that he was on the track, I wouldn't expect him to have gotten any damage. Wouldn't have expected him to touch any walls there.
Yeah, the end plates are looking okay, so hopefully got away with that one, and just to take it a little bit easier on those hot tyres. Don't want to see anybody else going around into the wall, but looks like he's off on his way unscathed, and Karma there on that soft tyre, rocking up to the rear of the Alpine of VSR Roscoe Arm. Both, unfortunately, the other Alpine drivers not managing to make the race today, and we are very shortly we'll take a look at the championship standings and where all these drivers lie and how this might potentially affect the standings with Alpines missing, both Alpine drivers missing out. As in full-time drivers, we have 2 reserves, obviously for Alpine, Honest Crook and Roscoe today, but yeah, the 2 full-time drivers not participating in this race, unfortunately. And look at that, look at the speed through their section that Karma has going through there. But yeah, as I was just saying before, if anybody that's been to any of these circuits, such as Spa, such as America, such as Monaco, the elevation changes, the camera just does not give them justice at all. Have you been to any of those, Ted?
Nah, I've only been to the Australian Grand Prix.
It's pretty flat.
Would love to go to others, as Roscoe taking a very defensive line here, all the way to the side there. But I'm sure Karma will have this move done before the corner, as he does. Hopefully he doesn't break deep, as we have seen many a times here. Beautifully done though. I'm sure he will just try and drive off into the distance there.
Yeah, well, you'd think that Roscoe probably is not going to be pitting again, or he's hoping that he's not going to be pitting, so probably trying to hold Karma up a little bit, who's most likely going to have to pit and then come through Roscoe again, so not quite racing for position, but obviously anytime he can hold up the McLaren will help in the long run, as long as he doesn't damage his own race too much fighting fighting the McLaren, but they're just proving that he has the pace. A 35.4 from Karma, fastest lap of the race currently. Yeah, going back to the elevation changes, yeah, they're just, the camera never does them justice, and they're crazy steep, some of those changes. I've walked up the turn 1 up the hill from Monaco, and it's very steep. It's quite long as well, and yeah, a bit out of breath in the hot sun when you go up that hill.
I think one may be that a lot of people who are obvious from Australia that may have seen will get an understanding of what we're talking about here is probably Bathurst. If you've been to Bathurst, you can understand just how big some of those elevation changes actually are. You know, you're sitting in the game or whatever and you're driving the track, you're like, oh, it doesn't look that bad. But then when you're actually there, they are very steep.
I'd like to go to Bathurst. Have you been to Bathurst?
Unfortunately not. I would love to go. Probably I'd go at the top of the hill with all the rednecks just because I think it'd be good fun.
yeah, but I think that'd be good fun, and yeah, I agree with you with the elevation changes. It just doesn't really seem too steep, but I can definitely appreciate that it is a large elevation change on that track there. But unlike Australia, where we were at a few weeks ago, Tent and me walked around the track at the end of the race, and yeah, it's very, very flat. Though that said, there are a few camber parts of the track there. Banana Cake getting it. What's that yellow flag there? Is that Honest Crook going? Has he just had a little bit of a moment there? Bit of dirt on the tyres potentially. Yeah, we walked around the track there, and it's super flat, but there are a few little camber, a few little bits of I hesitate to call them elevation changes, but there's a little bit of character to the track. It's not bone flat.
Yeah, well, this is the first time we've actually been back since the Australian Grand Prix. Ooh, very tight there, wasn't it? I was just wondering in the chat, what do you think of the new circuit layout? We've had the race on it, we've seen it. What do you think of it? I think, personally, I quite love the new changes. Bit sad that DRS zone did get taken out, but other than that, I was very, very pleased with it.
Yeah, Deputy Dildo there onto that soft tyre, having a near miss with a pit entry wall on the outside. He's going to come out just in front of the Alpine of Honest Crook. Yes, people in the chat, what do you think of the changes in Australia? It was a pretty... I feel like it was a thing that built Mighty Wombat, our leader, into the pits. This is crucial now. Just before as you're formulating ideas in the chat there, we'll talk about on-track action, as we actually currently have some interesting track action. That is going to be Mighty Wombat to the end, no doubt. So he has got a bit of work to do now to sort of catch that gap up to Ford. It's a bit of a gap, 7 odd seconds. It's not horrendous, so yeah, and you know what as well? That could be, both Aston Martins now on the podium. This could be a real good result for these two guys, Aston Martins. And I still think that Wombat has a good chance of the lead here. It's only 7 seconds off. He's gonna have much fresher tyres than Ford. His tyres are only gonna get worse from now on if he does indeed take them to the end.
Yeah, Roscoe picking up a 3-second penalty there, and I think that means he's at 6 seconds. I'll just have a quick squiz. 9. No, he's at 9 seconds, so very unfortunate for him there. We're seeing a few more penalties pop up as Deputy Dilldog just gets another one there, sitting at 15 seconds. That's not very good for him, unfortunate. I do want to quickly just do a little point out of Banana Cake Pie talking in chat whilst he is racing. Don't know how you do it, but it's impressive.
Run out of Oreos apparently. I've been snacking on those Biscoff cookies. They're damn good. Anyway, going back to track changes. Nothing that wowed me really. That's the point. I was literally about to make. There was a bit of hype, and then it was kind of yeah, whatever. We didn't really talk too much about them. I don't think. It was kind of glossed over a little bit, but I think those track changes were pretty big, like in terms of affecting things, and would have been interesting with a 4 DRS sense. I 100% agree with you. I think that the race was... You felt it was a normal Australian GP, bland, boring and uninspiring. I disagree with you. I think that it was improved from a normal, boring, bland Australian GP. It was improved because they've been a lot more boring in the past, and I do really think that this change did improve a little bit, but not enough. Had they kept the 4th DRS zone, I think that would have been the tipping point and would have improved it to make it a lot more interesting. But they wussed out of changing that for apparently Alpine reasons too.
Yeah, I do agree. As we're going to see Karma make a move on Begizzled here. Move should be pretty easily done as he burns all his ERS. Bags now burning his ERS, maybe wanting to try and stay in that DRS zone and try and get a bit of a tow here.
It's going to be tricky. I mean, he's on the soft tyre, only 6 laps old. Bagsy on the 16 lap old medium tyre. I'm sure he'll do his best here, but I think he's going to struggle. He's already dropped 7 tenths on Karma. I can only see that increasing through the rest of the lap, and I'm sure Karma's going to be pushing hard to open that 1 second gap. But Karma here in a very, very good position. I wonder if he's thinking about taking these to the end.
I don't think so. We've
strange.
only seen him really last about 16 laps, so I do doubt he will be able to make it to the end with those.
Yeah, and there still might be a couple other drivers still pitting as well, so we'll only see how that pans out, I guess, in the last 15 or so, 10 laps. So still a bit of a way to go for the strategies to pan out. But yes, going back to track changes in Australia, I really wish they had not have removed that DRS zone, which is a real shame. I think that could have, they always do that. They're a bit too conservative, I think, with some of the choices they make in terms of tyre allocations and such and such and such, but definitely would have. I think it would have spiced it up and made the race really good. Aston Martin with the worst weekend in existence. Yep, but I tell you, man, when Aston Martin got we had the Stroll crash, and Aston Martin got Vettel's car ready in time for that last lap, the crowd was going wild, along with him going around on that scooter as well. Everyone was going absolutely wild in the grandstands. It was some great live sport moments right there.
Yeah, I was just thinking, well, not much. We had a bit of drama. I guess the drama, but even if you took out the drama, the way I'm thinking about the whole race overall is that we saw a lot of people going off the circuit during practices, but also during the race as well, as we saw Carlos make his big mistake, and we saw Mick go straight on through the same spot as well, and we even saw like a lot of crashes where Alonso crashed out, Vettel also crashed and went out there as well. I think just those little extra things that we would never normally see at the Australian Grand Prix is just one thing that I think was very well improved.
Yeah, I'm very keen to drive around the new. I'll pretend like I know which corner it is. The one at the end of sector.
Are you talking about the one that's been turned into a solid hairpin?
No, the one after the car park section. The one that they've sort of cambered in a little bit and sped up. The one before the corner that they removed at the back of the circuit, the backside. I will find out which corner
I can't picture it.
I can't picture it in my head. I'll find it for you. I'll find it for you once we look. But because they actually changed quite a few of those corners, like more than you'd expect. Apart from the obvious changes that the removal of some of the corners, such as here we go, turn 9 and 10. There was that 8th corner that they removed around the hill. They completely removed that one before the high speed chicane. But the one before it, turn 6, it is turn 6. They sped that one up. I think that would be really fun to drive around. It reminded me a little bit of one of the corners at Jeddah too.
Yeah, could be a bit interesting to drive it. I'm pretty keen for, what is it, the fourth last corner, that one that they turned into a
square one.
Yeah,
the
that's
right angle.
really
Yeah, that was quite interesting. Too. That's turn 13, I think, I believe.
I don't know it off the top of my head, unfortunately.
2 drivers with no penalties currently. And I think that is definitely going to play into... definitely play into their hands. Honest Crook there. A hard tyre. And Mighty Wombat on that medium tyre. And whilst we've been talking away, Mighty Wombat has really closed that gap with Ford now. Down to 3 seconds. It was around 7 seconds. Banana Cake Pie into the pits. Finally. 2 drivers still out on track who have not pitted. Is there a reason that stops? Why? Telling me Honest Crook is only in 35 laps on that hard tyre. I'm not sure why, but yeah, on that fresh soft tyre now goes Banana Cake Pie, presumably going to the end on that soft tyre, doing the one stop there. And we'll see how that plays out for him, but he's going to be rapid on that soft tyre now, no doubt trying to get some fastest laps in there too, as we see the race leader come into the pit lane for his final stop too.
Very interesting that he actually pitted there, because if he stayed on that tyre until the end, he would have been at 37 laps on that tyre. We just saw Banana Cake Pie pit 36 laps on those mediums, so it's definitely possible. Maybe he's decided pit for the softs and try and hunt down Mighty Wombat, as Mighty Wombat was sitting in his 3-second gap.
Yeah, Karma also coming into the pits. Only did 10 laps on that soft tyre. I find that very strange, considering now he has to do quite a few more on this last set, unless that was used and this is brand new fresh. But yeah, he's pitted again for his final pit stop too. So now the strategies are now starting to play out with pit stops there. Karma now forward, Mighty Wombat all not going to be pitting again, going straight to the end. You'd probably imagine Ferrari Pro would be also looking to that with only 12 lap old medium tyres, but these guys now, there's going to be a real mix of tyres here. Ford on the back of Ferrari, and let's have some on-track action again as the strategies now come to a head. I think it's going to be pretty simple by Ford getting past the Ferrari on the main straight. That does that pretty easily there. Ferrari got absolutely no energy on his battery, which is a bit of a surprise. Obviously been pushing after that mistake to try and recoup some time. Karma once again behind Roscoe, as we saw earlier. Roscoe defending heavily to try and hold up the McLaren a bit more, because he knew that the McLaren would be having to pit again and do the same maneuver again, but I think he's just going to struggle as much the first time round to hold up the much faster McLaren on the fresh rubber. That's Ferrari Pro. I'll shut up straight away about not coming into the pits. Pit stops playing out here. Bags also coming into the pits there on the 20. A bit surprised Ferrari Pro's come in with only 13 lap old medium tyres. This is going to put him way off now, completely off the back of the other guys he was just racing. Karma sails past Roscoe up way before turn 1. Gets the job done, and that puts him up into P3 at this current stage, which is mighty fine for how he's been going for the rest of the race. Bags down in P5. Karma's on an absolute blinder there with the strategy, and PRL, it's all coming to a head. PRL Aussie on those old medium tyres is behind Bags, but I don't think he's going to be able to hold on. Ferrari Pro on the very soft mediums just behind him, a couple of seconds down, and I'm sure I'll be catching up to him pretty quickly.
Yeah, Karma killing it with the strategy at the moment. Went super long on those mediums and doing a soft. Yeah, is up 8 positions at the moment from the race start. So he's doing very well. Hopefully he can hold on and maybe even possibly catch Ford and maybe overtake him.
Such is the caliber of the drivers we have today. We have not seen any safety cars or anything like that. Not even a whiff of a virtual or a safety. As look at the speed on that Ferrari. Absolutely blasting past the Red Bull from so far back. I think that definitely really concretes the fact that I think he's running a much lower downforce than some of the other guys, with those sketchy moments he had as he goes purple in that middle sector, which is all about the speed. And yeah, definitely I think he's running some before there. 34.1 setting the fastest lap, well clear of what we've had so far, and I'm sure that the Ferrari will be hot on the tails of that other Aston Martin to try and gain some pace. I'm sure they're going to be running also into the back, as Karma sets a 33.5, nicely clear of Ford's previous lap. So those guys pushing hard on that fresh rubber. Look at a lot of guys on fresh rubber at the moment, and the fresh soft rubber too, the fastest of the three.
Yeah, Mighty Wombat just picking up a 3-second penalty there. Not what he wants at this moment at all, as Ford is catching him quite rapidly on those softs as you would expect, but he did also have an extra 3-second buffer, but now that is gone. So Mighty Wombat still a pretty tough race ahead of him, as we know Ford's quick, and we should expect him to catch back up.
Yeah, that sort of negates those penalties in the top three, as you were saying. They've all got 3 seconds now. 10-second gap from Mighty Wombat. He's on the fresher rubber, but it's not going to last forever. I think Wombat's got the longevity in hand. Can Ford catch up, get the move done before his tyres go off? That is going to be the question on everyone's mind through this closing stages of this race. Now 16 laps left to go, and yeah, it's going to be, I think it's going to be difficult for Ford. Of course, that spin that he had earlier put him in that position. You know, you would say that cost him a good 10 seconds. So had that not happened, they'll be racing side by side at this current stage. But as it is, the mistake was made. Mighty Wombat did not make the mistake, and that is why he is in a really good position at this current stage.
Yeah, definitely. About tyres, as you were just saying then, we have generally seen the soft runners pit about lap 16, 17. He has to do 19 laps on those to the end, so it is doable, but they could be very dead at the end, so we might see his pace drop off a fair bit, and Mighty Wombat definitely going to be able to go to the end on those mediums, and he might be able to just keep the gap, and the pace on their tyres at the moment might change, and Mighty might be the quicker one then.
Yeah, he's just got to take it, just not going to take too many risks, I think, at the minute. I think Mighty Wombat's got the upper hand at this current stage of the race, so just not take any silly risks or anything like that, and just keep that gap nice. He can afford to let him catch up a little bit, so don't have to push those tyres too hard, as we see there. Bags in the Aston Martin making a move on Roscoe. He's pulled up alongside him, but he's not really getting past him that quickly. But look at the Ferrari, absolutely rapid in a straight line. Bags locks up too into the braking zone. Can the Ferrari close up? Not quite. I think that Ferrari is deadly on a straight compared to some of the other cars, especially that Aston Martin, which just pulled alongside Roscoe in the Alpine and just did not really seem to pull the gap after that overtake.
Yeah, you got real close to him there. It was pretty tight, but I'm sure he'll try and make a move very quickly, very soon. Honest Crook pitted, finally got off those hard tyres. He's done extremely well on those and did not bin it, so congratulations, Honest Cook. Onto fresh softs, so hopefully he will be able to try and close in a bit of a gap, but unfortunately he is very far away.
Yeah, well, you never know. Could be a late safety car and brings him back into the game, as Ferrari Pro is going to be hustling Bags now through this S section in Sector 1. Tight, twisty, got to get it pin perfect, and that's not what Bags quite did then. But Ferrari Pro's got very low battery at the moment, although from what we've seen with his straight line speed, I don't think he's going to need it. But look at that, threads it through nicely, up the hill, down the hill, uses a little bit of energy just to close that gap up, and then make sure he's in touching distance, goes nice and wide, cuts across beautifully for a great exit through here. Wonderful traction, hasn't lost anything, in fact gained on the exit, uses a tiny bit of hers, and I think the job is going to be done with this DRS. Is going to make it very easy. Shifts up to 8th quite late, and yes, sails past him nicely with the DRS. Dickety Dildog there picking up another 3-second penalty, but Bags just got to keep it within 1 second now. And with a lack of energy from that Ferrari, he could still be in a good chance here. As Aussie there makes the move very early on the straight on Andre. Not sure what happened there. That seemed to be far too early for maybe a mistake was made there. But he's up into P7 now, regaining some of those lost positions from that pit stop.
Yeah, Ferrari Pro showing his pace there. Look at that, already practically gained that second split. Begizzled still having that DRS, but they're both on the same lap tyres. So yeah, Ferrari just showing his pace, obviously wanting to try and catch Karma, as he's only about 6.8 seconds away. So I'm sure he can close that gap.
Yep, they're racing for position now, but unfortunately Ferrari and Bags both have 6 seconds, so they've got 3 seconds extra of penalty, so they're going to have to overtake on track there. Andre coming into the pits, I think maybe his tyres are a little bit cooked. 30 lap old medium tyres. He's taken them quite far. One of those pit stops going to put him probably down in P10. It's going to promote a couple of guys up. He's on those fresh softs, so he's going to be hunting. He's going to put him right in the fray with Banana Cake Pie. They're going to be... he's just going to be out just behind him, so we'll keep an eye on that battle because I think that'll get pretty tasty too. But Bag's not quite managing to stay within DRS of Ferrari. Just happy to be here, says Banana Cake Pie. Will you stop typing in the chat and focus on your racing, boy? If he's so confident, we might actually bring him in. If he thinks he can type and race at the same time, we might bring him back into the comp box. I don't think we're going to get a safety car, so...
yeah, you want to talk and race?
Yeah, you want to talk and race, Banana Cake? What did he say? Was that a yes or a no?
Don't know yet.
Alright, well, I'm going to bring him into the comp box if he's getting cocky with his typing. Banana Cake, you there? Maybe he's just getting himself organised. We'll keep him in the... We'll keep the line open, just in case he decides to pop his head back in. Keep the door open, as to so to speak. So feel free to pipe up at any time, Banana Cake, if you reckon you can type and race at the same time. Surely talking and racing is not too difficult. Challenge proposed there for you. Not a whisper, no.
Get screwed.
Either way, Bags has just, he's not quite able to keep up with Ferrari Pro at this current stage there. And job done for Ferrari, but those two are going to have to catch up to Karma, overtake Karma, and then pull a 3-second gap on Karma to claim a podium position if they can do it. 6 seconds off, is gaining a little bit, but they're on equally fresh tyres pretty much. Just over 10 laps to go. It's going to be a bit of a tough ask, I think. Andre getting a bit of car movement through the S section, really pushing that car. He has closed it up a little bit with Banana Cake. So yeah, I'll be interested to see if he can close that gap up there for P9. Otherwise, gaps have opened up quite a bit. Ford is just slowly, lap by lap, whittling down the gap to the lead, but still plenty of margin for Wombat at this current stage.
Yeah, Wombat, as you said, still plenty of margin. What were we at? We were about 10, 11 seconds, 6 laps ago, so he is whittling that down. We might see a last lap battle here from them.
Yeah, I reckon we probably will, but it just depends on how well that Ford has looked after those tyres, and conversely how Mighty Wombat 2 has looked after his medium tyres. They're going to be both pretty worn. Well, I would say that the mediums might be in better shape by the end of the softs, you would have thought, because the mediums can do, around 30 odd laps. Softs maybe 20, so that's Deputy Dildog in the pit lane there. Bit of a surprise pit stop there from him. He's done 12 laps on that soft tyre, so maybe just quite some good strategy playing out there. Is that a front wing change? No, it isn't, so yeah. Unfortunate pit stop for him there. I think with sitting where he was is going to put him down the field a little bit. But yeah, Andre caught up a second on Banana Cake in that last lap, so the pressure's on a little bit. 10 laps to go. Can Banana Cake hold on to this P8 position? That is the question at the moment. Battles further up the field. We've got Karma in P3 and Bags and Ferrari slowly trying to chase him down lap by lap. So just keeping an eye on those interval times there for you. What else have we got going on here? Oh, I was going to talk about pit stops there, just comparing the pit stops there. There's Ferrari Pro having taken that extra stop, I believe, because of that spin, but a couple of guys making that one stop work. Roscoe, Banana Cake, and Honest Crook, the only ones on that one stop. If we have a look at the position change, that it's worked out nicely for Banana Cake, not quite so much for Roscoe. with that one stop maybe not quite being the way to go, but I think he's gonna be able to hold on to that 6th position there with Aussie a good 15 seconds off the back of him, as we see Bags going a little bit wide to turn 11 there. Quite easy to do. Still no word from Banana Cake.
I think he's just focusing at the moment, as he does have Andre coming up to him, and he might be in that DRS very shortly.
Might see if we can bring him in at the end of the race to hear how he went, but otherwise, yeah, we'll keep a very close eye on that battle there, as it is certainly shaping up. Andre's been using a lot of his energy. Oh, Banana Cake picks up a 3-second penalty. That's just that puts him up to 6 seconds. So now, due to penalties, Andre's got that. So that puts him a little bit under the pump. I'm sure Banana Cake is pushing now because of that, and maybe ruining that mistake a little bit. I think next lap, Andre is going to be in that 1 second DRS gap that he needs to take in, and he's just got to keep it clean. Don't want to pick up any penalties. But as I was just about to say, Andre there has used up a lot of his energy, whereas I think Banana Cake has been tactically saving for the preparation to prepare for the defense. Because Andre's going to be mounting an attack this lap, as he's just dipped under that 1 second mark, 9/10 as he heads over the detection point, and yeah, that's gonna make it very difficult now for I think Banana Cakes might just have to place a little bit tactically. He's sort of at a disadvantage. Look, already trying to break a little bit of a slipstream just ahead there, as you see him moving to the inside. He's on older tyres with an extra penalty, but he does have more energy, so I think there's going to be a bit of tactics in this little battle here.
Yeah, definitely. Little thing to note is that there are a solid amount of fuel lights up on some of these cars, as we see a yellow flag. Who's that for?
I think that was just Honest Crook getting out of the way. He's being lapped at the moment by Karma and soon to be Ferrari, so I think that's nothing to panic about.
Yeah, alright, back to the fuel warnings. We've got one on PRL, Aussie, Andre, Deputy Dilldog, and Honest Crook. So they've already got fuel warning lights. Hopefully they will be able to make it to the end of the race.
I wonder if some of them may be fueled for a safety car. We just haven't had that safety car. It'd be a bit of a disaster, but I just saw his what a late move there from Andre, looking to the outside, not going to have anything. There is Banana Cake, has had the inside there, so no gaps for him to come through there, but just making Banana Cake aware he's there, putting on a little bit of pressure, a bit of a slide through that section there. Very easy to do, just keep it together here. Yeah, his fuel light was blinking there a little bit, so I think he's playing right on the edge of the fuel is Andre.
Yeah, definitely.
Pushing now, I think, to try and get past. Probably not worrying about the fuel too much, think about that later. There it goes again. You see that blink there? So,
yeah.
Playing on the edge of fuel limits. So really pushing the limits there. I think it's just gone a little bit too wide into turn 1. Probably the same thing roughly in turn 12 too. So really pushing Banana Cake Pie now. And there is a 6 lap difference in the age of their tyre, so it might make a difference. And the gaps also I just wanted to mention between Karma and Ferrari. Ferrari's sort of unchanged a little bit, and Bags is sort of dropping off a little bit off the back of Ferrari Pro, so not really working out for them, but I think Karma's done a great job on his strategy today.
Yeah, I do concur. Little thing to note is Banana Cake Pie's backlight blinking already. He has used a lot, as we see Andre making that move. Will it stick? As he's gone a little bit deep, but he left the room on the inside of that apex, as Banana was kind of there, but I don't think it was necessary. Move is complete. I'm sure Banana Cake Pie will try and retake that position as soon as possible.
Yeah, he used, in these last 2 laps, he used all of his battery, 50-60% of his battery there, which is a bit of a surprise. Going full defensive there. I might have thought that he might have just sort of saved a little bit. He's gone wide. I think he's right on the edge of his those tyres maybe just a little bit past their prime. Oh, sideways coming out of the last corner. He's still got the DRS though, using all of his energy. I think he's past his prime, those tyres. 11 laps old versus Andre's 5 lap, and just struggling a little bit to keep up with him. If he can just keep it clean through this S section there. That's a Mercedes. That's a Mercedes.
Ford! That's Ford!
Gone round again in that same place, catching the drivers out. That's absolutely really ruined his chances for the lead of this race, and put him right off now, 10 seconds off the back of Wombat. And I bet Karma has smelt maybe a potential P2 on the cards there.
Yeah, I'd expect that his tyres will be pretty overheated. Bit of extra wear on them, especially at this time, is not what he needs. Could be very, very costly for Ford there.
Yeah, unfortunately, Banana Cake has dropped off that 1 second marker. I say that he's caught back up again in this. That was at the end of the straight there, so he's just keeping it within touch of with Andre's exactly what he needs to do. But Ford already recouping a bit of that loss. I think Wombat sort of just relaxing a little bit. He's got that breathing space, and can't be making too many more of those mistakes, Ford, because you've got other guys ready to pounce upon you. And yeah, crumbling a little bit is Ford there. And let's take this moment just to bring up the standings for you guys at home. You can see there that Ford is a championship leader. Unfortunately, due to Plebs not being here today, it's just going to help him extend that lead. Quite a few of the drivers not here, but if you take a look at the constructors there, lack of Alpine full-time drivers means that the Mercedes boys are gonna be very close, if not jumping the Alpine. So that constructors battle is going to be very, very tight. It's going to be ideal for the Aston Martins there. If they can keep it together, they're going to be moving up and clearing AlphaTauri nicely. And who else have we got here? Some good finishes there. It could be it'll be a good day for Williams as well, closing up that gap to Alfa Romeo. Otherwise, yeah, and there's a very, very tight battle between Haas and McLaren, just a couple of points separating them. So that's going to be some good points for McLaren with no Haas. There is one Haas driver, Deputy Dildog, but he is a me. Who's winning? Me. Who's me? He's still typing in the chat. I feel affronted that he has not come and talked to us.
Maybe he's just not able to reach that unmute button at the time, unfortunately.
But yeah, he's still keeping within touch of Andre, so that's good to see. He's only just pulling away a little bit per lap, but Ferrari Pro has got up to the back of Karma. 1.5 seconds, just reeling him in. Don't forget, he still has that extra 3 seconds of penalty time. Does Ferrari. So if he wants to that position, he's gonna have to overtake Karma on track and pull a 3-second gap. So he's got a lot of work for him to try and regain that podium position that he probably thought he had covered earlier. Banana race, yes. Well, if he's gonna type in the chat, he could at least join us in the com box. You tell him, Carl. You tell him. And Clunky Boys in the chat too. Who is winning? Mighty Wombat is winning from. Well, I think he had very strong pace today, did Mighty Wombat today. So I think he would have definitely been in contention for a win with just track performance. But mistakes from the Ferrari, mistakes from the Ford have really given Wombat the upper hand in the race today, but he did put it on pole, so all credit to Wombat. So he's done an excellent job today, and barring any mistakes, he is set for a good finish. Shush you. Ferrari Pro now has the DRS on Karma, and Karma, they're both quite low in their DRS. Ferrari just really using a lot of that battery. just having a look at the Ferrari not really gaining on the straight, and that's what we were saying, mentioned before, that McLaren also loves to run a lower downforce setup, so the Ferraris come across someone with probably similar downforce levels to him, not quite as easy for him to get past this. It's going to be a bit of a challenge here. And with the laps rapidly disappearing, time rapidly disappearing for Ferrari to overtake and make that 3-second gap. Don't forget about he needs a 3-second lead on the Karma to keep that podium position, and definitely Karma is going to be fighting him now with only 4 laps left to go in this race. Yeah, you tell him, Carl. Karma goes defensive. Ferrari on the outside. Are we going to see an overtake here? Karma's gotten very tight. Oh, Ferrari almost losing on the exit there. And no, not this time round. Good attempt, but not quite pulling off. Roscoe there picking up a penalty here. Karma's gone a bit too wide at the end of that S section. Has allowed the Ferrari to catch Backham, reel him in here. But once again, they're quite similar battery levels, and yeah, it's going to be interesting who's going to have this drag race down the back straight now.
Yeah, I'm sure Ferrari's going to be able to make this move here, as he's a lot closer. Both having a very little ERS, but that DRS should just give him the big pull, as it does, and moves done before the corner, as we have seen time and time again.
Bit of a lock up there from Karma too. Oh, he's already pulled a nice gap through there. Karma's just got to hold on, not make any silly mistakes, and keep within the 3 seconds there. Just not let that Ferrari get away. A couple of laps left in this race. It is absolutely crucial that he does not let that Ferrari disappear up the road, which it's already doing. Ford picking up another penalty here. So now they're equal with the... so I'm going to bring the penalties back over here. Now they're equal. That's really going to help Wombat really relieve the pressure on him. Yeah, those 6-second penalties negated between Ford and Ferrari, but already you can see he's pulled a 1.2 second gap on Karma. This is not what Karma needs. He needs to keep within that 1 second gap. Otherwise, he can kiss that podium goodbye. Sure, that's not what he wants, so got to keep it nice and clean through here. The Ferrari Pro's been pretty strong through this sector, even with the lower downforce. We presume he's running, and yeah, that 1 second gap has held. If anything has extended slightly, he's used a bit of energy to try and get down the hill, but I think that 2/10 is just too much there for him. Got to get a good run through here, trying to... No, I think the Ferrari's just slowly disappearing down that straight. You can see the gap opening up. He's used a bit of energy as well to try and extend. And yeah, 1.5 seconds down, 1.5 seconds to play with. It's all still to play for this podium for Karma, so definitely doesn't want to give up yet. Are we seeing any other position changes with penalties, I wonder?
We should see a couple. I think Roscoe. No, it doesn't look like he'll lose it at the moment.
Aussie could well lose out to Andre. It's very close between the two. He's got 9, he's got 3. It's 6.2 at the moment. So I'm sure he's aware of that. It's going to be very fine margins between those two guys, but I don't think that's it really between penalties, apart from the obvious that we're watching at the moment.
Yeah, it just seems that the margins in this race just slowly continue to increase, as we haven't had a safety car and will not get a safety car anymore, as we are past, as we are within 2 laps left of the race.
Yeah, and just before we get into the final lap, guys in the chat, I want to remind you that we only have a few races left now this season. Our penultimate race in a couple of weeks' time in Brazil. We are having Mr. Race Spec. Spread the word. We are having Mr. Race Spec in the combox as our interviewee for that weekend. So spread the word, guys. It is your chance. Also, if you have any questions for El Presidente, El Capitan, please put them in the chat, and we will endeavour to ask him your fan questions. as we see the gap is open now to 3 seconds from Ferrari to Karma. So you've still got a couple of weeks to get those questions in. Do post them in the chat. Any questions you want asked to Mr. Race Spec, put them in the chat and we will ask them for you. This is your chance now to ask those questions, and yes, spread the word. Tune in a couple of weeks time for the final race of endurance at Brazil. We're at Portugal next week, which is going to be amazing too. So yes, definitely want to tune in. Now, final lap for Mighty Wombat comes across the line up the hill. 6-second gap at the moment between him and Ford. This has been a great race from Mighty Wombat. Put it in P1 pole. Fantastic job from him, and he's kept it clean. He's done a fantastic job, and that's exactly what you need to do. So all respect to him, and really commanded this race here. Some of the other guys crumbled slightly under the mistakes, such as Ford and Ferrari Pro, who equally could have had a shot at the win, but yeah, making mistakes around that 16, 17, 18 high-speed right-hand corner. But Ferrari Pro looks like he's done enough now to secure P3 from the 3-second gap to him, and Karma unfortunately has not been able to keep up with the Ferrari there, as we see another penalty being picked by Aussie. That's definitely going to demote him now in this final stages. Even though Andre actually dropped that 6-second gap, that's really gonna upset that position change there for him. I was just listening, he's run out of fuel, hasn't he? Has Karma run out of fuel? It certainly sounds like it. No?
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, he's run out of fuel. Karma's definitely run out of fuel. Trying to keep
Wondering if Begizzled behind has also ran out of fuel.
No,
Same
he's
with
going
maybe
again.
Rocco. A lot of people red flashing, all of them red flashing basically.
Anyway, Wombat across the line takes P1. Ford in P2 across the line. Ferrari Pro takes that P3. Thanks to the gap he made. Great job from him. Karma secures that P4. Aston Martin bags there. 2 great points finishes from the Aston Martin boys. A P5 for bags. Absolutely fantastic race for the Aston Martin boys. Roscoe here coming around the final stage of the corner on the hard tyre. Maybe Karma didn't run out of fuel. I was wrong. He just really seemed like he was going slow around there. A couple of corners for him. To now Roscoe for the Alpine, reserving 40 laps on that hard tyre. Good job from him running that one-stop strategy. Comes across the line to get a P6. Great drive for him, keeping it clean all the way through. And now we've got PRL Aussie just coming up on the lap carb. Honest Crook, who's going to come across the... What's happened there? 10-second time penalty. I don't think that's real, so we'll probably just ignore that. But I think that's still going to demote him at least one position for Andre, who is going to come across the line now, I believe, in P7 after the time penalty. Yes, Banana Cake, unsure about him, does a lovely crash into the wall before he grows across the line. Why would you do that? And he's out of there. Banana Cake, you're a cheeky lad. You're a cheeky lad. And yep, that's that Williams in the wall there. You know, he just had to take up, just had to show off, take up the whole screen. Karma, driver of the day at the end there. Yeah, a little bit too soon there, Banana Cake. A little bit too soon. He's supposed to do that as you come across the line. As our podium boys come across the look at that lovely pirouette there. And Ford in the chat struggled with rear wing damage after my crash. Oh, rear wing damage. He's done a little bit of damage there. GG says the Flaming Midnight. No idea who that is. Clunky Boy, GG's also, but that, yeah, very close. Taking away from Wombat, his pace was nuts. Yeah, I think Wombat has a commanding race there. Great job from him. Lovely job from the Aston Martin boys, claiming some good points for them today. And yeah, sort of securing that place in the constructors a little bit. And there we go, there's the grid for you. Mighty Wombat P1, great drive from him. Ford in P2, P3 from Ferrari, good job there. Karma in P4, great strategy from him, promoting him up to P4 from 11th on the grid, driver of the day. Bags there, the other Aston Martin. Roscoe P6, Andre P7, Aussie P8, Deputy Dildo P9, Banana Cake Pie in P10, Honest Crook in P11, and our 2 DNF retirees, Alex and Ventani. Time to win my championship, Tenora, and that says Clunky Boy. And maybe let's just, I wonder, is Banana Cake, are you there? Are you there? Can we get your thoughts after that race? Are you there in the chat?
Hello.
Hey,
I'm here.
he's there. Wonderful,
here.
wonderful. How was that race, apart from the absolute disastrous end where you completely ballsed up getting across the line?
Yeah, that was a little bit too soon. A little bit too soon. There's a small white line as you exit the corner, and I thought that was the finish line.
Yeah, isn't that the DRS line?
I think so.
Yeah. It's the black and white one there, the checkered.
Yeah, I saw that as I was slowly rolling up to it with 3 wheels.
Not too shabby a race from you there.
Yeah, a very
go?
boring race. I did have a good little battle with Deputy very early on, which was very
Yeah.
enjoyable. But other than that, not much happened.
Yeah, and then Andre hustling you a little bit too near the.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. How did you go with the wing levels? That's what we were talking about that a little bit between Ferrari and Karma as well.
That early medium stint was just there was no turn, nothing there.
Yeah.
So during the pit stop, I was like, let me just bump up that wing a bit so I can actually turn this bloody car.
Oh, well, you got lots of love in the chat there, Clunky Boy, Banana Cake Pie in the chat. Shout out for you there. How are you chatting and racing at the same time?
I have my laptop in front of me, so just down the straight, so my left hand to the control and just type away.
What a guy, honestly.
It keeps me entertained when there's just not much happening.
Oh well, it was a pretty exciting battle at the front at least there, and yeah. So well, thanks for joining us anyway in the comm box. It was great to hear from you, and yeah, another lovely round USA. 2 rounds left in this season. Portugal on the 7th next weekend, and the final round in Brazil, where we're going to have, once again, a reminder, we're going to have Mr. Race Spec in the comm box in the interviewee, and you've expressed your interest at a question, which we'll endeavour to ask him, Banana Cake.
I'm gonna bother him about it too.
Good. We love banter. Well, once again, thanks for joining us in the comm box there, Banana Cake, and thank you once again, Tent, for joining me in the comms today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was another good race to watch and commentate over. It was good fun.
Yeah, and we'll see you all next week in Portugal, but don't forget to spread the word about the final race in Brazil, where we'll have Mr. Race Spec